Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, episode 98. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to write chord progressions to improvise over using the circle of fifths. And it's very important to know the circle of fifths because it's in that circle lies all of music, and it gives you an understanding of how chords and scales work together. So although it's not necessary, it's helpful and useful to know it. Eventually, you'll just kind of know it in your head, but to visualize, to see actually what's happening on the circle is very, very useful and convenient. So we'll start off by looking at a circle right here, circle of fifths, and kind of looks like a clock, doesn't it? Looks like a clock, and you can kind of look at it and think about a clock where you see C is 12 o'clock, and if you look clockwise, you see G, D, A, E, B, G flat or F sharp, the enharmonic. Same note, only two names. So you have like 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so it's 12 tones. And that's the outer circle. On the inside is the relative minor. So it's basically the minor note that's relative to that note. And it's a circle of fifths because it goes in fifths. C to G, C, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, A. It's basically 5 notes away from each other. So it's a circle of fifths. If you go counterclockwise, it's fourths. It goes in fourths. C, D, E, F, F, G, A, B flat, and so on. So we're going to come up with some really easy, simple, fun chord progressions to improvise. And I made some loops for this too. And so the first progression I think we'll come up with is it's just a 1-4-5 progression. Actually, it's going to be more of a 1-4-5-1 progression. And it's going to be a 1 chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord, and then back to the 1 chord again. So, one thing I wanted to do real quick here is let's do a little quick refresher course on something here. I think it was let me just go back here 1 second, and we could see this where is it? Right here. Pardon me for not knowing what I'm doing here. It's where is it? Let me go back to this camera. Back to this camera. And I think I had a chart here. I guess I didn't bring it. I didn't save it because I don't see it. So anyway, it was the Roman numeral system. Basically, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it relates to all the notes of the scale. So if you had the C major scale, starting on C, put it down here so you can see this. Starting on C, C major scale, every one of those notes has a chord to it. So it's basically the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, go back down here, the 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord, and back to the root again. So the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord are all major. The 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord are minor chords. And the 7 chord is the half diminished chord. So when we're looking at our circle here, we'll see if we want to make a 1-4-5 progression. We'll just see, okay, we got the C is the 1, and then we'll go to the 4 chord, which is actually counterclockwise. You see the F right there, that's the 4 chord, and then the 5 chord would be a G. So you got a 1-4-5, then we go back to the 1. So it's going to be a C chord, an F chord, a G chord, and a C chord. Hello, Ozman. How you doing? Give you a round of applause for joining me this Sunday afternoon or morning. No, it is afternoon. That's 12 o'clock. Cheers to you. I don't know what you're drinking, but I'm sure it's beer o'clock somewhere. But I have my coffee from this morning still. So, all right. So we're talking about writing chord progressions from the circle of fifths. And if we look here at the fifths, the circle, we're going to write a 1-4-5 progression. And it's going to be, the 1 is going to be the C right there at 12 o'clock. The 4 chord is 1 note over counterclockwise, that's the F. And then the G is the 5, because the circle clockwise moves in fifths. All right, that's good news, Ozman. It's a good morning for me too. Whenever I have my guitar in my hand, it's a good day. So 1-4-5, and then back to 1. So it's basically C, F, G, back to C. And the cool thing about this, the fun thing, is that you could play. Oh, there's what I was trying to do before. I was trying to show you. Okay. Here's the Roman numeral system, how it relates. The C is all the uppercase Roman numerals are major chords. All the lowercase are minor. So when someone says, "Hey, 1-4-5," it's going to be the C is major, the F is major, the G is major. That's what we're going to start with right there. And what's cool about this is you could play the major scale over this progression. And I outlined one pattern for the major scale right there, and it looks like this. It sounds like this. I mean, you can play the C major scale so many different ways. You can play it here. Or the way I presented it right here. Or down here. Oops. There's a million places. But here's one good way to do it right there. So if you come up with a progression that's a 1-4-5 to a 1, you could essentially play the scale. So here's a little loop I created. It sounds like this. It's a G, C. The C chord, F, G, back to C. I recommend just kind of playing up and down the scale. Just get comfortable with the way it sounds. And you can't hit a bad note here. If you're moving, ascending or descending, and you're not landing on anything, you can't hit a bad note. Now when you land, I recommend landing on something from the C chord. Like the note C. Ozman, lots of songs in this progression. Sure is. I'm a 1-4-5. We got lots and lots of tunes. But why not add one more? Make one more song. Make it a hit. So, like I was doing, you play this scale, C major scale, and you really can't hit a bad note. But what I recommend is when you land on this, when you resolve to the C, have that much delay on. Land on one of the target notes for C, which is, if you hit a C chord, you have the root, the fifth. If you look at this shape right here, the root, the fifth, the root, the third, just follow this template. These are chord target notes right here. The C, here's the fifth, the third, the root. You can land on any one of those notes, and you're going to be safe. Like, watch in this progression. The top note of the chord. The fifth of the note. The third, see? So I'm kind of safe playing any one of those notes. Third, the fifth, the root, bends up to the third here. The seventh. Nice note too. You could always hit the seventh. Lots of songs. Very simple way to improvise using a simple progression. Now let's look at this circle again. Circle of fifths here. Let's see, Osman, that's a question here. What do you find to be the easiest way to memorize the fretboard? Do never know. Well, very easy way to memorize every note is to just start off with learning just the natural notes, I think. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E, like that in each string. And then just fill in the blanks from there. You know what A is, right? So you need A flat, just drop it down. You know where A is, you need A sharp, just raise it up. So you're eliminating half the notes by just thinking natural notes. You want to know what a D is right here. D flat, just go down a half step. D sharp, go up a half step. So just know the natural notes. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And you're all the way there. Learn on every string. On the D string, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So on the D string, if you want to know where there's the E flat, you know here's the E, here's the E flat. You know, it's an A flat, A flat. Pretty soon you start to you'll see the natural notes, especially if you had one too many to drink, right? And you're up high and you're like, oh, where's my A? Well, you know that here's an A. Where's my A flat? Well, I know where my A, after a while you'll start to know where the A flat is, but you may need a little help sometimes. You may go, well, here's the A, here's the A flat. Just a quick way. Getting off subject a little bit, but good question. Now, going back to this chart here, we'll see that we want to make another progression. We want to do like instead of a 1-4-5, let's do and if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. And let's do a 1-6-2-5 progression. How do we create a 1-6-2-5 with this chart? Well, we know that 1 is C. Okay. And actually, if we go back to, let's see, I don't have that right here. I have to go to here, and I have to hit this again. A 1-6-2-5. Okay, well, here's 1. C is 1. The sixth note is the A, and you can see the little Roman numeral 6 next to it. 2 is the D. It's a lowercase, so it's minor. And then 5, G. So 1, 6, 2, 5 progression is a C, A, D, G. It's basically just the letters, because C, D, E, F, G is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're just kind of taking the notes and reading them out of order. C is the 1, A is the 6, D is the 2, G is the 5. So we could look at it that way. We could also look at it another way. Right here, you could look at this chart, the circle, and see that the C is 1. The little circle on the inside of the circle of fifths is the relative minor. But if you look at that little pizza shape, we got the C, the F, and the G. You have D minor, A minor, E minor. Those are all the chords of C, key of C. So you have C is the 1, A minor is the 6, the 2 is D minor, and the 5 is G. So, by looking at this chart, we created a 1, 6, 2, 5 progression. So it's, if you want to look at the chart, if you see, okay, the F is 4, the relative minor is going to be the 2 chord right there. And if you look at the G going clockwise, the E is going to be the relative of G. So that's always going to be the 3 right there. So C relates to 6, F relates to 2, G relates to 3. That's all your chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. And we're not really going to count 7, the half diminished chord right there. C is always going to be the 1 chord in this progression. We're going to get to another thing in a minute where we do a minor progression. And in this case, if we were to do a minor progression, you might start on A, and some people may call that the 1 chord, the A minor, and then C would be like a 3, a big 3 chord. Or it could be like a 6 to a 1. So there's a few ways to look at it, but we'll keep it really simple and try to have a good understanding. But you're right. C is the 1 chord in this case. C is the 1. And let's go from there. So I did create a progression. It's a 1, 6, 2, 5 progression. And go back over to here. That's me. That's me again. That's me for a third time. We're going to use the same scale. Not that one. This one, C major, over this progression. Let's check this out. A, D, G. So you got C, 1 chord. A minor is a 6 chord. D minor is a 2 chord. Same scale. These chords are all made up of the C major scale. So I can play the C major scale and not hit a bad note. But if I want to land, just land on a chord tone from C. It pretty much works over every note. Chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. Melodies, trying to, instead of just playing scale types, hit a note and just kind of imagine where you'd want it to go. Ozman, thank you. I'm going to put this up for the world to see. Not to give away my age, but I was at that original Woodstock. Your lessons have gotten me out of a rut. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. I'm so glad that you find this helpful. It's very, very cool of you. Appreciate that very much for mentioning that. That's why I do this, because I love to help. I love music. I love playing. I love talking about it. I love showing it. And, you know, it's not like this stuff is so advanced that millions of people don't know it, but millions of people don't know it, you know. There's always someone I feel like could help. You know, there's a lot of people who are going to watch this and that know this stuff already, but you know, for me, it's about just showing people that don't really know it, and even if you do, you'll find like maybe another angle at this. I like to watch stuff that I know already because everyone comes at music at a different angle, and it's good to know 3 ways to do one thing as opposed to just one. When you start to really understand something, the more ways you look at it, the more of an understanding you actually have. So, you know, when you study like something like modes, for instance, it's all really the same thing, but you'll have 20 people explaining it 20 different ways, and you may not understand 19 of them, but one person will come along and go, oh, now I get it, you know? And that's what I really love. I love that. You know, I've been watching theory videos and mode lessons for so long because I'm always waiting for someone else to come up with some other angle on it that goes, oh, that's great. Okay. I never looked at it like that before. And that's the gold right there, you know. Very cool. All right. So to keep this moving along, you know, I do have a course I'll tell you about real quick. It's where is it? It's called the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar. And check out how fancy I am right here. It's at my website, jerrycherry.com. And it's basically I go through a little bit more in depth on the circle of fifths and, you know, fretboard memorization. It's really 3 parts. Fretboard memorization, where I go over how to memorize the whole fretboard. The circle of fifths, where we get into chord progressions and backing tracks and scales and how to solo over different things. As far as the circle goes, there's so many different ways to come up with progressions in there. We're taking a very simple approach, but you can get kind of crazy with it too. And then I get into the blues, how playing the blues is so important because that's where all your soul and feel comes from. So check that out when you get some time. I put a link right at the top of my description. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. So let's go into another progression. We're going to switch keys up here too. So we're going to look at the key of A. So look at the look at the A note where 3 o'clock would be. Let's have some aqua real quick too. So you have the A right where 3 o'clock is. So now that little pizza pie right there, if you look back to D, that's your 4. If you look forward to E, because that's the way the circle works forward, you'll see that's the 5. So once again, it's the same thing in the circle. The relative minor is the F sharp. That's the 6th chord. If you go back on the 4, you see that, you know, the B minor is a 2 chord. If you look ahead to the E, the C sharp minor is the M3. And it's basically just letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right there. So A is 1, B minor is 2, C sharp minor is 3, D is 4, E is 5. So it's really, the musical alphabet is A through G, A through G, A through G. One big circle. So we're going to come up with a 2, 5, 1 progression. And that's a very, very popular progression, but we'll do it in A. So basically the 2 is B, because right now the family is A. A is the ruler, is the king of the jungle, right? A is the lion. B would be like a, you know, little cub. So we're going to start off with B minor. And then what is 5? Well, we know that E is 5 because it's the next letter above A in the circle of fifths. Or it's A, B, C, D, E. It's 5. So 2 would be B minor, 5 would be E, 1 is A. So the progression is basically B minor, E, A. So I have a progression, a loop already with that on there. And it's basically the B minor, E, and A. And just like the C, we're hitting diatonic chords. Diatonic meaning all the notes are related. Same 7 notes over every chord here. The A major scale, 7 notes. So if we go back to here, I will get rid of this scale and I'll put up the A. So it's basically the same scale, only it's A major. It's the same fingering, but I have it right here. We could play the A scale any way you like. A major scale, however you've been playing it, whatever's comfortable for you. So if we play this progression here, this one, sorry, that's one we just did. Yeah, it's this one. A. B minor. E, A. So all these notes work. Start on B. I'm kind of targeting notes here. I'm hitting the B note in the scale. E note, and then on the third, the A major chord. Major scale. Just going up and down the scale. If you want to improvise, just land on a target note. Okay, land on the third, because it works. Seven. That works too, major 7. Fifth. Fifth always works. Third. Sorry about that. It'll end. That's my looper for you. So, very simple. We're just playing one scale, over this progression that we just came up with, and you could write a song over this. You know the notes that work with it. It's really, really cool. Let's take another one. Let's take this final one. There might be one bonus one we'll throw out there. Get rid of this. Let's go back to this right here, and let's do a minor scale because we've been happy. We're in major. Let's do minor. Like you were saying, in this key of A, is A always the one? Well, yeah, it's always the one chord because it's the parent key that we're talking with. But if we want it to be minor, we want it to be the relative minor. We'll look down and we'll say, okay, well, F sharp minor is the relative minor. And so that's the 6th chord. So let's come up with a 6, 1, 2, 3 progression. And how do we do that? 6, 1, 2, 3. Well, 6 is the relative minor. That's F sharp minor. 1 is the A. You're right, Osman. It's always the 1 chord, A. 2, we know what 2 is. 2 is going to be B minor. And 3 is C sharp minor. Okay. So the progression is basically F sharp minor, A, B minor, and C sharp minor. And we can go ahead and play that A major scale, but I kind of broke it down to an F sharp scale instead. It's a little bit easier to just appreciate. This scale right here is the relative minor. It's an F sharp minor chord. How did I play it? This is the position right here. I'll even play it up here. It's a very good minor position right here. If you don't know the minor scale, that's a really good way to play it. Very finger friendly. Right? Okay. So this progression, if I could find my last progression here, my looper, created 4 progressions on my looper, my RC5, which is a really good looper. If you don't have looper, you can create 100 different scenes on here. I used 4 of them today for these 4 loops. I just stored them. So it's really, really helpful. So here's the progression. A, C, E, C sharp, F minor, A, B minor, I can play any note in the scale and it's going to work. Let's run up and down the scale. Now when I land on a note, same as the major, we'll land on a target note of F sharp minor, whether it's the root or the 5th, minor 3rd. See how this chord looks? I don't have my finger there on the major 3rd, it's a minor 3rd. So any one of these notes are target notes. The root, the 5th, the minor 3rd, back again to the root, the 5th, the root. Fifth, 7th. 7th is the E note. what happens when you try to be cool. Ow. I already dropped my headphones today, right before we went live, and now I just give myself a black eye. Well deserved. Well deserved. Oh, man. Playing guitar is a violent thing. It's a violent activity. I'm telling you. Look at my eye. Playing guitar is violent. I get beat up more playing guitar than the last time I picked a fight with Mike Tyson. I don't know what's more dangerous. All right. Ozman. So in EAB progression, E would be the one chord, correct? Yep. That's right. If it was an EAB, if that was a 1-4-5, which in the key of E, it certainly is. If we look at this chart right here, look at E, which is 4 o'clock. If you go counterclockwise, 1, that's A. If you go clockwise, it's B. So you got E, A, B. And that's a blues in E or anything, in E 1-4-5. And of course, don't forget the little letters, you know, in the inner circle. That gives you 3 more chords to work with. So you take that E, A, and B. You can say, well, I'm going to do E, F sharp. I want to do E, C sharp minor, A, B. So instead of going E, A, B, you have one more chord now. Try this one. E, C sharp minor, A, and B. Now I want to show you one more last thing real quick, based on the last thing that I showed you here. So if we go back to here, we'll get rid of this scale. And actually, you know, I didn't import that, but I'll just tell you about it real quick. If you have that progression, right, the one that we just did, that's a F sharp. The one here, this progression. B minor. Okay. Now watch this. Stop this. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Give me 1 second. All right, let's create real quick here. Should have did this earlier. Okay. We'll do a progression. Here's the drums. Make a progression. It's like this: an F sharp, an A, B minor, C sharp minor. So I changed that last chord to, instead of a C sharp minor, I made it a C sharp 7 chord. So check this out. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our new loop. Now what I'm going to do is, with the scale, I'm going to take the D note, and I'm going to make it sharp. Taking the E and I'm making it an F. Only on the last chord. Hear it right there? That's making it like a subdominant chord right there. So I'm going to play this whole minor scale until the last chord. And on the last chord, I'm going to take the E and I'm going to make it an F. Check this out. regular minor. Roses. Alright. So, that's one little bonus. One little bonus there. Basically, the reason why that sounds good is because all four of these chords, three of them, first three, are in the key, and so is the C sharp minor. But once I make that a dominant, I'm basically taking this E note. Because I'm shifting the E to an F, the same chord, but I'm making it an F. That means in the scale, I got to take the E, make it an F. Essentially, it's taking the C sharp chord, making it major as opposed to minor. So now I have that tension that brings me back to there. Just a nice little trick. It's basically like last week or 2 weeks ago I did a thing on secondary dominant chords. Essentially that's what it is. It's a secondary dominant that leads back to the C sharp. So thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this, got something out of it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I go live every Sunday here at 12 o'clock. And next Sunday, actually, it might be a little different once again. Sometimes I got to change it. And I think next Sunday is one of the times. So it's probably going to be on Monday next week. So just a little heads up. But if you have any ideas of what to do, and I know Osman gives me a lot of ideas, and I appreciate that so much. Anything you want to learn, any theory stuff, any solos and styles of the soloing, guitar players, certain styles, anything. I love to do stuff like that. So let me know in the comment section or the chats right here, and definitely let me know. Love to do that for next week. And check out my course, please. That would be very, very helpful. And that's basically it, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Not sure what time it is yet. And let me know what's a good time to do. I usually like to do it early in the afternoon. I don't know if you guys are working. We'll do it like a lunch power hour. Instead of having lunch, you could tune up and play. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy. Thanks for spending the time here with me. Give you a round of applause for that. Remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video I made on the circle of fifths, check it out right there. So I love you guys. Have a great week. Sunday. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, y'all. Peace.